All right, we are in the Tour Championship. It's practice. The tournament hasn't started yet. I'll practice in rookie, and then I'll shoot a separate video, and we'll go out there and see what it looks like from the pro tees. But I haven't taken a look at these holes at all, except for one of the 9-hole cups, or one of the golden shot is on one of the par threes. So I've seen that par three, but other than that, that's it. So let's look at this course. Let's look at it. Does it give the name of the course here? East Lake Golf Club. Got a big par 4. This, obviously, on a par 4, we're always looking on any par 4 of what are our opportunities to try and get on. So we will go out there. It looks fairly straightforward. These are those type of holes that I use a Titan, the king of balls. It looks pretty straightforward, but it might be one of those holes that's just far enough that you have to. It's hard to tell if when they make these courses based off of courses in the real world. I'm not sure how they do the yardage, so I'm not sure like if the real East Lake Golf Club hole number 1 par 4 is the same distance as this. It seems like when they do real courses and they turn them over that they can be kind of easy. We'll see. Where you really want to get, because of that narrow lane, this narrow lane coming through, where you'd really want to get is in front of this so that you can get yourself going in that direction. So with a 0 power ball being there, with a 3 power ball, we'll see if we can get in front of that. I'm not going to worry too much about whether I get the shots off. Let's really kind of take a look at them, since we're having to pay for practice. Let's really take a look at them, because anytime we have a straight up lane going in there, we almost have to do it. We almost have to. Yeah, so giving myself a couple rings of separation and still being able to straighten it out and just like get it up there onto the green. This little mogul right here is problematic, because if you hit that on the downward bounce there, you can get the scoot. That's one of those types of situations where you can definitely get a scoot. It's about 2 1/4 rings. Actually a little less, but who's counting? Hitting it perfect. And just see if we can just see what it looks like when it's just running up there and like no power, nothing special. Yeah. Right there. I would have rather actually been I would have rather been on the fringe than to have to take that putt, but there you have it. The thing about that rolling it up there is you can see in this area right here, it's all rolling downhill. So when you come in, you're trying to be right on that. If you get on that, if you got enough speed, it might actually change your direction and you might actually start going towards the cup. But it could be easy if you're coming through there to end up getting caught up in this rough where it tails you off into the rough. So being like, I think I went right through the center. Anything to the left right there, I would have gotten involved in that. But on the right hand side, it is a little flatter. Now if you've got lower developed stuff, this is definitely a hole with a bigger ball or a ball that's got some topspin boost, but I'm not going to want to have to take that putt very often, I can tell you that. So I would definitely rather have been on the fringe, just right there in front and chipping it up, as opposed to taking that putt. Not being the best putter in the game to start off with, I am not going to make that putt very many times. I had to put something on so I could get some practice tokens and make sure I have enough. Hole number 2. Hole number 2. Hole number 1 is a par 4 and hole number 2 is a par 4. And what kind of, does it give us any distance here? Do we know how long this hole is? Guess not. Guess not. Hole number 2. Another par 4. Now this one looks like it's a little bit longer. And obviously we can't get it all on one screen. So coming through this lane here, trying to bring ourselves up to the front, it will be, that lane's coming through like this. It's going to be super difficult. You got to get so, this is threading the needle here, where you got to get, if you brought it in this way to try and get up into that, then you're heading towards that, and you can't bring it around to do this because you're already right up against this transitional line. So trying to thread that needle to get up there, this is probably better served to try and lay it up right here in the front. And then actually, depending on what club you got, I use, if you could get up into wedge range here, and with a Firefly or a Rapier, you could do a rough bump on that, or you can just start off in front of it, get close and do the deal. But I would think probably safety wise that you might be able to get up into here and have this, but I'm not sure distance wise whether, you know, it's any closer here than it is here. And it's definitely going to be a lot easier to lay yourself up in the front than it is to try and get some, but we'll see what the deal is. This hole definitely looks longer, so either a bigger ball or a ball that's got topspin boost if you can't get up into that area. We've got to be able to, this has got to be wedge, and anytime we can work ourselves into a spot where we're in our wedge, we want to get into wedge. And wedge, short iron, those are our money clubs. We definitely want to get down in it. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like with just a power 3 ball and roll from there. Gabe 007. Dun. That was the Batman theme, actually. Here we go. Well, I could be totally wrong on both of those accounts. Man, that looked like it's so much longer out on the course. And this is another one of those holes like the first one that I really don't want to be on the green here. I would rather put myself in this spot or up here and not get on the green, because that putt that I had on the first one was on the verge. It was an overpowered putt, but it was on the verge of being too long to even make. I think how this hole's laid out, I think the smart move is just to lay yourself up right in front of the sand, because what my opponent's doing right there, you know, they might be able to get themselves in a good spot this time. And they're using a lower power ball. Yeah, I mean, right, you're all the way up into that area. I mean, play it smart. Think about playing to the right-hand side, you know, consistency-wise. How many times are you going to end up in the rough, tail off in the rough or the sand? And we can take this with our rock. I'm going to pull back to the +0 mark. Let's do +1 because it's easier. I'm going to do no spin. We'll just see how far it rolls out right there with no spin. 3-3. It's a max club. A little less than max, but we'll call it max. 3-3. It's always better when you, anytime you've got a shot like this, like, and I could have put a little bit of topspin on it. Anytime you can bring out one of your more accurate clubs like a rock, gives you better ball guide. I like it too when you can bring out that and you can pull it back from the red line so that you can give yourself some room. So like if you're using, like right there, I'm using a Titan and we've got a side wind, but in the next round we've got a pure headwind, I'll be able to pull it back to that mark, and I've given myself room in order to work the wind out for every round, and I don't have to change the ball, I don't have to change the setup. I might put a little bit more topspin on, and you can adjust that, but you can work it from round to round, and you don't have to continue to change your stuff. You could probably still do that with a katana and pull back from the red line and then just run some topspin. So there's Max. Maybe 5 rings in. It was actually a little bit better when I was further back. Let me think here. Get my trusty dusty calculator out. 4 divided by 1.2. 3.33 rings. Three. Hitting it perfect. I didn't add on anything there. It was just a straight up adjustment, but you can see the ball guy was running true. If it hadn't hit the flagpole, I would have ended up off the green on the other side. So we're going to have to find the spot there where the ball guide's running true, and we can stick it. So what we can do is we can go on that hole and we can put on 6 topspin and then find the spot where it ends up right at the hole. But that spot seemed to be a little sticky, where it's wanting, and I don't like spots like that where the ball guide's going long and then it's going short, and it's going long and then it's going short. I want to find that spot. And sometimes the simple thing is to move the ball off in one direction or the other and put some side spin on it, and you'll find a flatter spot sometimes on one side or the other. That's a hole we definitely want to play a few times, just so that we can, find a better spot and find out what our spin is. This is a hole that once you find that spot, write that spin down so you can go on that hole and put the spin number in, put the spin on, and then find the spot where that spin is the right way to roll. Hole number 3. What is hole number 3? Practice now. Hole number 3, a par 5. Well, it starts off with some big stuff. Well, in any of them, we got a pretty straight draw line from the flagpole to the tee. Not too much movement having to come around in this direction. This little peninsula that's sticking out right here, while it looks pretty innocuous right here, is what'll, if you could get down into that range. But this is definitely one of those ones where if you could get down there far, it would definitely be better. Let's see what we can get down with a par 3 ball. Let's see what it looks like. Here we roll. Those first 2 holes are definitely makeable. This is going to be a low-scoring tournament if those first 2 holes. And the one par 3 that I've seen, it's extremely makeable. So, it's extremely makeable. It is a pretty good deal on the Golden Shot this week. That hole is pretty good. And I will tell you, if you watch Tommy's Golden Shot setup, you can win some balls. You definitely, if there's a week that you definitely want to watch Tommy's Golden Shot to get the numbers and see how he's setting it up, this is definitely the week. I actually timed out in my odd account. I was right in the middle of the deal and my dog jumped on my lap. My dog ate my homework. Damn. What ball is that? It's a par 5 ball. Let's see if they can get up there. If you can, you can. That's one of those shots you want to practice a lot because it's easy to be off trajectory at the end of the run. See where the, usually with the extra mile, if you're 3 rings off, you do max curl, it's going to run that ball. But that little peninsula I was talking about is definitely right there in the middle of the freaking lane. 3/8. It's like 2 rings. We'll do a max curl shot and see what works. I'm gonna do a max overpower curl shot. Oh. Hello. No, I'm sitting in the back porch. It might be. I'll check it. Wait. We just got a message from our car that somebody rolled the window down. I see the car in the driveway, so it must be that I left the window down to start off with. I'm gonna have to play this hole again. And I got screwed. Three, 6. Dang it. Now I gotta play this hole again. Arrgh. All right. And shit, that shot that I hit was beyond good. I'm surprised it wasn't a... Oh, don't get on the green. That's not that bad a putt, but the good news is that you can recover from it in there. I started a brand new account and just playing it for people that are new, just to show them, like new stuff, new accounts, and just like absolute basic wind adjustments, not doing mid, min, none of that stuff, just knowing your max numbers so that you can go out there and try and stay in the fairway, because people take it for granted so much that, and I wasn't paying attention on that, that's why I missed that when you're out there, just staying in the fairway it's just so damn important. I really think with that hole right there, let me see what the curl looks like if I can just make the freaking shot. Let's go back one. Let's play that one more time. Hold on one second. All right. It's going to continue to get bugged unless I went and fixed it. What are we on? Yeah, we're back on hole number 3, and I wanted to look at something. I'm just wondering, because of where we're going up there, and we're gonna right. Let's see if we can hit this one perfect. I think if we just laid it up out there, we'd probably be shit. It might be in our short iron range if we just laid it up. We might be better off to just lay it up and not have to work hard at it. There must be a topspin boost ball out there that's got like 4 side spin, because you could probably get around the bend and not have to do any curl on it, and not have to do any overpowering, get up there into your short iron. And if you're bringing out a bigger ball like that, it might actually put you into max wedge. Let me see if I can just get it up there into the fairway cleanly. And if I do screw up, I'm going to put it in the fairway where I want it, just so I can see what club I'm in. Yeah, 3-power ball with some topspin. There's max OP. And a little teeny bit of curl, and that's dead center in the middle of the fairway. 2-6. There's 2-6. Let's put that forward power back on. And just a little bit of curl. 1 ring great to the right, or left, excuse me, that won't kill me. Now it's all just like seeing what the distance is. That's not bad. I'm gonna just chip it out into the fairway right there just to see what that was, because here's the thing: if you have a 3 power ball and you do max overpower, it's kind of like doing a 5 power ball with no overpower. Got the Apox out today. I like that Thor's Hammer 8 that my previous opponent brought out. It was pretty nice. But like, you're really going to get to see what can happen, because let's see what kind of distance they got. That was with just a 2 power ball, and I think they got as much distance as me. Where are they at? So let's split the difference here and say that if I brought out just a 5 power ball with topspin boost, or just a 5 power ball, just putting it out there, let's see what that looks like. That would be kind of indicative of where we want to get. Buster, knock it off. Short iron. The Thorn. Almost everybody I see play a Thorn plays it with backspin. They think like it's a one-trick pony, but the Thorn, one of the things about the Thorn is it's got great ball guide, and I don't see that many people play it like this. Most people are playing it where it's just like a pure backspin club. I guess they like the look. Worth a shot. Worth a shot. Nice distance. See where my red line's at. So I'd have to get up into this area in order to get into my wedge. The deal is it max wedge? Can I get max wedge to get up there, or am I going to get that where it's bouncing around? There's a spot right there. That's pretty close to the freaking red line. It's at 1.2 per ring. 3.3 divided by 1.2, 2.75 rings. And I probably should take a little off, but I'm going to do the 275. Hitting it perfect. And it did not roll out up that hill like the ball guy was saying it was going to. So you'd either need to get closer if you wanted to get into your wedge, or taking that shot with your short iron. Good game. Good luck. All right, we've had a look at that hole. We know what that hole looks like. I think that hole right there is, we can definitely put ourselves, we have some options there depending on our ball inventory and what we want to do. But I mean, the first 3 holes right there, I mean, shit, that hole right there, you can put yourself, shit, anytime you can get yourself into short iron range on an Albie shot. But I think with just a little teeny bit of effort and the right ball, you could put yourself way into your wedge and have a serious shot at the Albie. So I mean, those first 3 holes, you pretty much have to make those. I think this is the hole that's in the golden shot. It looks like it. No, it's different. Let's go out. We'll just go out there and look at it and see what the deal is. See what kind of stuff. It looks like it's pretty straight up, but it's hard to tell when you're looking at these pictures, because you know, that green looks really flat in that picture. But when you get out there, sometimes it's like, wow, it looks really flat in the picture, and you get out there and you're like, holy crap. It's a dome, and you're trying to land right on the top of the dome. It's kind of hard. Anything off trajectory gets thrown more off trajectory. We'll see. And I'm not sure where East Lake Golf Club is. I don't know that I've ever seen it. I may have. But yeah, that is pretty flat. Let's change that up. Like, where am I at in my club? There's men. So let's change that to a Margolin. There's Max. There's men. There's mid. I'm eking towards the men. Shit, I'm wondering if you brought out a Goliath. Let's see if I have a Goliath in any one of these bags. Did I not bring a Goliath? You might be able to do a rough bump there with a Goliath. That's definitely eking towards the men. Probably at maybe 10%, 50 or 15, between 15 and 20% right there with a Hornet. Let's pull up the old Golf Clash Notebook app, and we'll see what it says to do if you were in 20% with a Grizzly. Wind assist. And let's pick the bag. And let's go to, do I have odd stuff in here? There we go. Grizzly. Do a slider. It looks like it's around the maybe 20% mark, somewhere in that neighborhood. Put the wind in and see where we're at. $5-1. So I'm going to do a 4.1 ring pull. See if I can get where I can see what the hell's going on. .1 rings, and I'm definitely, there's probably an elevation adjustment here, but I'm just going to do a straight up shot. 4-1. Hitting it perfect. It's definitely uphill. In the hole. I just did a straight up. I was using the app, and I used the slider, and so I put the slider at 20%, and it gave me the 4.1. If I would have been doing hand math, let's see what that would have been. It's 5.1, and mid Grizzly's 1.1. 5.1 divided by 1.1. I've been 463 if I would have just been doing hand math. So there's an example of the slider being good. If I would have done minimum club, because I was closer to min than I was to the mid, it would have been 364 versus the 4.1, and that wouldn't have been enough. So there's an example of the slider being very, very good for us. Now, what my buddy Dunner would do is, if you're in the in-between like that, you would take the 1.1 and the 1.4, add them together, you take an average here. So 5.1 divided by 1.1 plus 1.4. Hey. Trying to get my equation to work out here. Doing it by hand, that would have been 4.08. So that would have been the ticket right there. So in that situation, with that ball, I'm not quite at min and I'm not quite at mid. So the average between 1.1 and 1.4, 1.1 plus 1.4 divided by 2, divide that number into 5.1 equals 4.08. And the notebook app said 4.1, so that's about right. So if you're playing that and you're in between like that, and you're doing the hand math, that's a great way to do it. All right, so we have an idea of how to play that hole. There you go. East Lake Golf Club, hole 5, par 4. Shit is it. Man, we got rid of the par 4s real quick. Hole number 5, par 4. How many par 4s are in this? These par 4s seem pretty straightforward. I mean, in the real world, you know, we don't have it's definitely different, but here these are pretty straightforward holes so far. And the greens have been, it seems a little catchy trying to do the rough bumps on how it's rolling out, but so far not so bad. This is going to be one of those tournaments that if you don't come out and shoot a 50, minus 50, you're not going to have any shot, where every hole is makeable. Here we go. Maybe. I go first. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what our options are. Bringing out a Titan. Oh, shit. Well, and this is one of those ones that you don't want to be a long ways away from the... And man, that's a tricky little deal right there, trying to get... This is one of those ones that the trick here is not getting up there. I think that this is another one of those holes where the trick is going to be laying it up right in front and trying to be right out there and then chipping it on, as opposed to trying to get on the green. Like, getting on the green might work sometimes, but like if we can just put ourselves out there in front and have the short little chip to get to the cup, it's going to be a lot better because that looks like a long ass putt. And it's really difficult too, because right at the end it's going uphill, so that's putting you more towards the overpower. Let's see if my opponent really goes for it. I like the fact too that I could move it back a little bit from the red line. Now we could set that shot up a little bit better so that we were coming through that opening and not having to put ourselves so close to the rough on the left hand side at the very end. Yeah, I think my opponent's got the right idea as well. And they did it with a lower power ball, but a bigger hitting club. And we're going to definitely have a little bit of work to do. There's max. There's mid. I'm in the deep into the shot shit. And it's going up the hill. I want to make sure I'm through the cup. Hitting it perfect. I should hit the flagpole. Dead center. When you're that close, when you're in quarter, at least in my opinion, this is how I play. And I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, or that if you follow that I'm not guaranteeing, but when I'm that close, when I'm in quarter club, the cup is, from the flagpole to the edge of the cup, is 4 miles per hour on both sides. So we had a 3.8 mile an hour wind, and I put it just inside on the left hand side, and the wind blew it over and hit the flagpole. That's just how I play, and I've always played that way. So, and I will say that in the last tournament, I got burned on one hole, hole number 4, both times in the weekend round I hit it perfect and I missed, and it wasn't because on that particular hole you had to adjust for the wind and you had to adjust for the slope, because as soon as the ball touched the ground it's automatically going off direction because of the slope and the wind. So I didn't I did one but not the other, and I needed to do both, but that's normally how I play it. Now there's another hole that we're like, we're gonna have to get that one. Jeez. Hole number 6. It is hole number 6. Man, these holes are just like, this looks like the other hole, just like they just did a mirror image of it and threw it on into the other deal. And from the rookie tees here going towards the cup, let's see if I can get it all in one. Can I get it all in one frame? No, hell no. Barely. So drawing a line from the tee box and just bringing it around through this, so we're not talking about a lot of curl to do it. What's going to kill us is this little peninsula right here. It doesn't look like much, but that little bit of kick out when we're rolling at the end, you can see how much it narrows this channel up in here. So I mean, your lane is just, you got a very small lane, so it's at the end of the run. Where we really want is to almost, once again, not get on the green. We'll have to see what the angles look like. This one might be a little bit better because we're trying to come in at that angle rolling towards the cup, but once again, it might be better to just lay it up right off the green and then chip it on. Which is okay when you've got upper developed stuff, but if you have lower developed clubs, you really got to watch what you put in your bag, because those are the type of shots when you have lower developed stuff that just kick your ass. Like you're right there and then you miss that shot. Firefly should be your friend. Let's see what we can get. I'm not sure how far we can get up there. Is this entire course par 4s? What was that hole that we just played? It's a par 4. That's a par 4. We're on hole number 6. Number 1's a par 4. Number 2's a par 4. Number 3's a par 5. I got a par 4. Another par 4. Shit. Do they only have one par 3 or 2 par 3s and they've got more par 4s in it? Or is it not a... In regular golf, our regulation course is 72, so 3 par 3s per side per 9 holes. It's just like we normally have in Golf Clash: 3 3s, 3 4s, 3 5s. What I don't understand, and of course Playdemic's never gonna want to address the deal, but what I don't understand is we've been playing this game's been out for a long time, Buster, and we're still playing 9-hole municipal courses. These are supposed to be championship courses. Where the hell is the back 9 at the Oasis? Why aren't we playing 18-hole courses? Instead of coming out with new courses like East Lake Golf Club, why aren't we getting the back 9 at Nordic Fjords, or some course where they're giving us, that little peninsula once again is going to be right in the way. So just laying the ball up right out here in front and trying not to get on the green. I'm going to actually pull back to the +5, give myself a little bit of breathing room. I got 4 topspin. 4, 2.8. Hitting it perfect. Just trying to put yourself in a safe spot. I'll plug my device in before it dies. And based off of what was on the first hole, this might be like some of the older courses where if you get on the green and you're not close to the hole, you might go, oh, that's not very far away. And then you get on the green to make that putt, and it's an overpowered putt. And obviously, if you bring out a bigger club, you can bring out a smaller ball. These are definitely holes that you do not want to do what my opponent did and overshoot it by putting on overpower. Bringing out a little bit bigger ball so that you can pull it back from the red line. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, there's max, so there's mid, so I'm in that quarter club. Let's not put any side spin on. Ball guide's running true. Got a 2-2, so I'm going to split the difference, so I'm right. So if I hit it perfect, it should hit on the left-hand side of the flagpole. Hitting it perfect. Pretty close to dead center, but I think it was on the left. Or dead center. Right there. Anytime you can get in quarter wedge, I mean, come on. I don't need to get greedy on that, and that did not take a lot of work. In the hole. In the hole. What the hell is the deal with this course? It must have only 2 par 3s with that extra par 4. Maybe. What is the deal? Hole number, another freaking par 4. What is this where you have to play? What is the deal here? Hole 7's a par 4. Hole 8 is a par 3. Hole 9's a par. What does that add up to? 4, 8, 13, 16, 20, 24, 28, 29, 30, 31, 36, par 36. Oh, I guess it is a par 36. 36, 36, 72. Jeez. Man, that seems weird. But I guess 7 2 par 5s, 2 par 3s. All right. I guess that's how we play it. What hole are we on? We're on hole number 7. Hole number 7. If all of the par 4s are in here are like that, and I mean, I am a big fan. Anybody who's watched my channel for any amount of time knows that I am a huge fan of par 4s. Par 4s are where we make our living when we're playing. If you are successful on the par 4s in a tournament, you're going to have success. Like, you know, you can get into those tournaments where nothing drops on the other holes. But if you're always, you know, bright and shiny on the par 4s, you're going to get those tournaments where, like, it all worked out. Now, I will say that from the rookie tees, we've got pretty straight up shots. But from the pro tees, the way that they've ran on all these holes, there's a lot more movement from the back tees. You know, we've got a pretty much straight up shot to get there. But when we talk about the back tees, you're definitely having to come out here and we're talking big curl shots. And this has got to be where we're just laying it up out here in front and then chipping it on. It's got to be. I mean, there's no way we're getting through that sand at the end of the run. Come on. Come on. Let's play it. And it looks like we can definitely take a smaller ball. This might be a great ball, a great hole for a katana with the side spin. I like it where you can bring out a ball that's just like one power size bigger than what you needed so that you can pull back from the red line. Because with a power 3 ball, you're at the plus 16 mark with an extra mile. A rock, I mean, you're at the plus 16 mark. So if you're bringing out a power 2 ball, is it plus 12? We'll see. I can't remember what the numbers are. Well, let's say it was plus 12. We'll find out right here. I'll switch balls. So with a 1 power ball, they're at the +7. Oh shit, you can just get on. Look at that. Man, that's a shit rough bump right there. And all right, we're gonna have to see what the deal is on this. I just assumed you were gonna lay it up there, and that we had some distance to get to that spot. I'm sure from the back tees, that's the deal. They're not doing this where they're just getting on. They're having to lay it up and then take the shot coming up to the cup. And that is going to be a really dangerous ass rough bump that's going to eat a lot of people's lunch. Either you're going to get caught in the sand or you're going to roll off the backside. One of the two. So I'm at +16. What am I with a katana? +11. Let's bring out that. And so the deal is on headwind days, you could bring out that Titan and pull back to the +11 spot and give yourself a little bit of room to work out headwind. Man, that is a shit little rough bump right there. I am going to try something though. If we draw my arc here, in my arc shot, I'm not in the rough right here, but if I put curl on it, I'm going to hit the rough right here. So I'm going to set myself up 5 rings off of this transitional surface. Max curl should put me that way, so I probably could start off on the other side, not do max curl, and see if I can bring it around and do and clip that. That'd be one way to go at it. That might be a dangerous way to go at it. We'll see. It'd be nice to get somebody that just wants to practice. They see that you're out here practicing. Itsy bitsy. I wasn't calling you guys over for treats. I just want you to quit digging. Well, they weren't digging, but that's one thing I'll say about my dogs is they're not diggers. They don't get in the yard and digging up stuff. +11. You can see I'm barely hitting it with 2. Let's see what that looks like. Let's just put on some curl and see what it looks like. There's 3 miles an hour right back to the red line, about a half a ring in. There's max curl, and that's way too much. So I'm going to do half curl and a little teeny bit of overpower. And I hit it 1 ring great to the right. That's where it would have been nice to have my grid on. And then I could have marked where I was putting my curl with my tick marks down here. Made a note on my note sheet outside of the ball in the red or center of the ball in the red. The deal there, let's see if it shows it in the picture. Yeah, it's not as good at it. This area here where you're coming in and getting the bump, this is a fatter rough area right here. So when you're taking the shot and you've got your arc, you're right on the edge here, but when you put the curl in it, now you're hitting over here on the, I'm not sure I like that. I actually think when I first saw how far my opponent could get up there, the first thing that came to my mind was bringing out something that's got backspin, like bringing out a much bigger ball and bringing out like maybe even a rocket, because it's got a lot of backspin, and if you've got lower developed stuff, you probably have a rocket, and it does have backspin, where you can get up here and try and get bounce number 1, bounce number 2, and then put some backspin on. But I'm not sure if you could get up there with how big of a ball you'd have to use to get up into that area. And I'm not so sure, like it worked out for me right there, but I can see that going south real quick. Where the smart move might be, and with my lower level account, I can tell you the smart move is going to be is just to lay it up right here and take that shot, and lay it up right here and take that shot, lay it up right here and take that shot, because that's going to be with your wedge. So if you've got a rapier or a firefly in your bag, you should be able to play that pretty good. If you're one of those in-bringer people, it'll still play really good because you're back spinning, putting on a couple backspin and getting up close to the hole. I think for a lot of players, the smart move is going to be to just go right here and set yourself up for that shot every time. But it is possible to go for it. It is. It is. Hole number 8. Hole number 8. This is the hole that was in the golden shot. And we'll see. Let's see how it plays here. And I know I can play this with just a mortal ball. I don't think you need really any side spin. Really? Buster? Buster? We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure where I'm at in my club here, or what kind of an adjustment as far as like wind stuff we need to be doing, but we'll find out. I'm really kind of bummed out I timed out in this account, because you definitely can get close. The thing about buying the packs, one of my viewers commented that this would be, and I will say that if you play the golden shot, this is a great golden shot to do it, because you can win a shit ton of balls on this one. Because it's super easy, especially if you watch Tommy's stuff, it's super easy to get to a close spot. Man, why practice and then just be like, you could take your time when you're practicing. You could. The thing is that when you buy this, you can win balls here, and you do get some good clubs, but the hard currency in this game is gems. And there's max. And there's min. There's mid. Right there. So we're once again, we're in that kind of in between mid and max. So it's 1.25 rings. .5 divided by 1.25. It's 2.8 rings. And I'm not going to do anything extra. I'm just going to do the 2.8. Oh! And I damn near hit the rough right there. So you do need to do a little extra. It definitely pushed it back, because I am a big fan of giving yourself room. You will very rarely ever see me put stuff like right on the edge, like, okay, you're one blade of grass into the rough, and I don't like to do that. I have to give myself a little bit of room, but go back and rewind that video. That first bounce right there was almost clipped the rough, almost biffed it right off the bat. So there's definitely got to be an adjustment, an extra wind adjustment. All right, it's definitely makeable. What I was talking about on that hole is with the golden shot. Here, I'll show you. So I mean, you can you could win like what, 35 balls or something if you hit all of them. But even if you just get the outer bands and don't get a hole in one, I mean, it's still, as far as what we can get, the outer ones, is that 12 East Lake balls? Is that the 3 on the outer one? 12 if we get a hole in one. So if we got the 2 outer ones, there's 7. There's 14 if we get the 3 outer ones. I mean, that's you think about buying a $10 or a $5 ball pack, You're getting 10 balls. I mean, it should be pretty good there, and you're getting some pretty good clubs. Club cards, especially if you got a lower developed account. If you've got an upper developed account, and you've already got all your clubs, and you're just grinding them out. It's not you know you could get some better stuff, but the cash in this game, the hard currency in this game is gems, and if you're trying to play a lot and you're wanting to speed open your chest so that you can cycle through chests to get your club cards, the hard currency is money. And if I'm going to spend my hard-earned cash on stuff, I really like it when I get some gems out of it. But it is tempting on this because there is those. I do like those balls. Those balls are pretty nice. Pretty nice. It'd almost be worth paying the 99 cents just to get one shot on it that I blew, because on all my other accounts I was in the yellow ring. It was right there. I didn't get a hole in one. I almost got a hole in one twice. But I was close. I almost was a contender. Okay, what hole are we on? I think we're on hole 8. Are we on hole 8? No. Let's go back here, and I think I'm on hole... Am I on hole 9 already? I guess I am. Now, we're just going to have to go out there and see it, because it looks from this picture like we're laying it up here, but I guess it just depends on how far you can get out here, whether you could stretch it out and get to the other side. And this might be one of those things where if you've got, just depending on what clubs you have, you may have to lay it up here if you've got a lower developed account. But if you got a mid-level, it might be bringing out... We'll have to see what kind of distances we have. It's hard to tell on that photo. I've been wrong on several of the holes on this because it looked like it was farther, and then you get out on the course and it's like, well, shit, you could take that with a marlin. If we can get an opponent. Last hole, and then I gotta go make some dinner. The dogs are looking at me like, dude, 7:20. Fuck. We're gonna eat today? You haven't fed me in days, years. I like it when my wife feeds them, and then I walk in the house, and then they're all like, "Hey, Dad, are you gonna feed us?" You lying sacks of shit. Let's see what it looks like with different balls here. So power 3 ball, we're right in that range right there. I mean, like, what does that look like? Like, I suppose you could come out here and try and rough bump it out on the other side if you had the oomph, but a headwind's not helping us out. Okay, let's just pick one. Yeah, I pitched the button. Then you're gonna take all freaking day? You can see where my mount out there, this is definitely a better APOC shot because I have more curl, so I could start it off in this direction and try and bring it around this arc out here and clip the rough here and bleed it out to try and get myself in that range as opposed to just laying it up. But my opponent's just going to hit it straight forward, which is probably the wise way to go. I think it'll take a lot of effort in order to let's think about the angle to the cup, because you got that sand right there in front of you. Damn, that's going to be a difficult shot to get up to the cup. It looks like we definitely want side spin on the second shot, and with that kind of distance we can probably bring out a more accurate club. I'm just wondering here if we couldn't try and rough bump it out Yeah, man, that fairway there is so freaking narrow that you could get the run and just end up on the other side. And it might just be better to just lay it up. Let's at least see what that shot looks like. And I didn't adjust the wind out, so it'll be a little short, but we can at least see what the angle looks like down here. It seemed like I set that bowl up and it was going to go more to the right and kind of go straight down the deal, but it ended up on the left-hand side. Oh man, that approach definitely blows. I'm going to have to look on this hole to see what doing that little rough bump to try and bleed out to get more to the left to try and open up this side of the course so that you could set up and try and bring it around a little bit. I'm not sure that's really gonna help if we were over there. It would give us a little bit better angle on it, but I think we still have to contend with that sand coming up to the cup. These are the type of holes when we're playing in the real world that you get a lot of people and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna pound the ball down there, and I'm hitting it off to the side, and they're like, yeah, I got an extra 60 yards on you. Or it's like, yeah, but you got to hit over. Now you got to approach the green through the sand, and I got a straight up shot, and I'd rather just take the straight up shot and not have any traps. Because this is definitely not a hole that I want to be doing that second bounce rough bump. Look at that shit. That sucks. I don't have any room on the red line to do that. You would definitely want to know what your wind adjustment is if you were trying to do some shit like that. This might be another one of those deals where it's better to just hit it off to the side and lay it up off to the side and then chip it on, as opposed to trying to go for the green, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go for that and epic fail. But that right there is a super high percentage shot, and it's very unlikely I'm going to make the other one. That's a super low percentage shot that could get you in a whole world of hurt, as opposed to just laying it up and taking the chip. But once again, if you got lower developed stuff, I think with the best club that I have in my bag with the brand new account that I started just to demo shots is my Firefly. And I put it in, that club is a game changer. Like, you get a Firefly because you can use it just like a rapier, where you can run the toss in. It's got ball guide. You can see where the hell you're shooting to. You got to hit it perfect. It's not a club that you can hit, and those types of shots right there are you definitely have to hit them perfect in order to get it in the hole. But percentage-wise, consistency, that might be the way to go. All right, there was a look at the new East Lake Golf Club holes for the Tour Championship. A couple of those holes at the end were where you had to, like this par 5, but the par 4s are all like, so what do we have? What kind of scores are we looking about here? So there's 2, there's 4. And let's just say you can definitely put yourself in Albie position here. So, but let's just say you just get your minimum score eagle. So there's 4, there's 6, there's 7, there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So if you just get all the par 4s, you're at minus 16. Now, granted, there are more par 4s here, so that the score is going to be a little off from our normal rounds. But the 2 par 3s were both extremely makeable. And at least on the first par 5, we have a serious shot at Albie, because we can get into our short iron or possibly even wedge range. That last hole may be the one that like ruins some people's rounds because they get too aggressive on it, but I think every other hole we got some serious opportunities, but I'm like minus 16 is where we need to start. It's going to be a low scoring tournament. The one thing I will say is that I didn't see a lot of those holes that you have to bring out anything more than what you can typically buy in the store. So just the Titan or the Katanas, Kingmakers, that kind of stuff. There was some of those holes my opponents brought out lower power balls and was able to get into the spots with some overpower. But try and work out whatever the ball so that you can pull back from the red line instead of having to switch balls. You can pull back from the red line and you're hitting from this spot, because when you change balls, now you're changing where you're at in your club. So here's your max red line and here's your minimum red line, and you've been hitting a dead center with a power 3 ball, and you're like, well, I'm going to save the power 3 balls, or I've been hitting it with a power 2, and then you bring out a power 3. Well, this is forward now, so now you're not in mid anymore. Now you're in between mid and min, so that shot changes. So trying to stay consistent with the ball and picking a spot and then being able to give yourself room to adjust out the wind is the smarter play if you got the ball inventory. But that's, everybody's got to have, that's an individual thing. That's why you can't say, well, you have to do it with this, because not everybody may have that. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a great week. Hopefully that helps. If you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe, hit the like, ring the bell. Stay safe and have fun.